Function of our stem cells and body cells declines as we age. With AM and PM essentials from Jeunesse, you can support your body's well-being. AM and PM essentials combines plant extracts, herbs, probiotics, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals to support your body's daytime and nighttime needs. AM and PM Essentials tablets contain the same key ingredient categories for the same support and effects. AM and PM Essentials packets are easy to take with you wherever you go. Mix a packet in water. It's a great way to take care of your human machine and the software it runs on. You only have one body. Give it the best you can with AM and PM Essentials, featuring formulas that work at the source of your cell's genetic software, taking an evolutionary step beyond vitamins and minerals. As part of your daily lifestyle, they can also help you wake up with more energy and experience more restful sleep.
好的，那我们今天呢，非常荣幸的邀请到抗老医学界的专家，诺贝尔奖的被提名人，同时呢，他也是 Ampm 配方的设计者 Dr. Vincent John Papa 来为我们揭开跨时代营养补充品 DNA 基因修护早晚系列的这样子产品的一个秘密哦。Hi, Dr. G.
大家好。It's my pleasure to be here this morning with you. Okay. There we go. Are we seeing this okay? Okay, I can start then with our discussion this morning. Okay. So Ampm is a very, very unique product that takes vitamins and minerals to a whole new level. Okay. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, I'll continue. I just don't know when you're finished translating, that's all. Okay, good. So today we're going to actually see the proof behind the uniqueness of this product and how it can actually change the genes involved in cellular aging. So Ampm goes way beyond vitamins and minerals. In fact, it's based on the same new science called epigenetics that we used when we did our Nobel Prize winning research on stem cell reprogramming. So the YES system is completely unique to Jeunesse, and it really is based on three fundamental principles. Those principles are the products work from the innermost aspect of our bodies, our cells, outward to our skin, and the products are experiential. That is, when we take some of the any of the YES products, we either see or feel the difference. One of the most important aspects of the YES system is when we use the products together, we actually have a synergistic or a greater effect on what we see and what we feel. Now, Ampm Essentials is placed at the fundamental base of the pyramid. And the reason for that is that Ampm, within a very short period of time, that is days, actually helps enhance the quality of the cells, how our cells function, both our body cells and our stem cells. And once people begin Ampm, the other products in the YES system actually respond even better. So this is the core or the fundamental base product that helps the other products in the YES system work more optimally. The human body is basically composed of two main groups of cells, our body cells or somatic cells and our adult stem cells. And the secret here is to maintain or improve the quality of the function of both these groups of cells. Our adult stem cells are our most important source of regenerative new cells because they replace our body cells as they're damaged or during the aging process as these cells become less efficient. The stem cells can turn into multiple different types of tissues. In fact, over 220 different types of cells actually come from the stem cells that we have in our body. Our brain, our lungs, our heart, our liver, our kidney, all have to be replaced. The cells in those organs have to be replaced on a regular basis. And without stem cells, our bodies will not be able to restore and repair the damage that occurs on a daily basis. So Ampm is the first supplement that focuses on restoring the function of both groups of cells. So one of the most important things we need to keep in mind is we are born with a fixed number of stem cells. So at birth, it's like having a full tank of gas in your car. Okay, but our human machines, our human bodies have, up until recently, had no way of augmenting or increasing our stem cells. So the purpose of the Ampm product is to help the stem cells we have work more efficiently and work longer and be able to help restore and repair our bodies longer. When we're young, as we go through childhood to adulthood to a mature adult, we use a large number of our stem cells up as we mature into adults. Now, this is called positive aging or developmental aging. Now, once we hit about 35 to 40 years of age, the number of our stem cells start to decline. And they not only decline, they lose their function.
Doctor, your PPT didn't change.
Okay. Do you see the multiple people on my slide right now?
Yeah, I see your photo on the slide, which is you are talking so far.
Oh, well, then you're missing all these slides. This is very important. We need to then, let me stop sharing and go back again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. Now, what slide do you see now? As our cells age, so do we. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
Okay. So when I click, let me see. Do you see this one? 3 basic types of stem cells?
Correct. Correct.
All right. So here we go. So I can continue here. So as we mature from young people to adolescents to mature adults, we use a large number of our stem cells up. Okay. Now, once we hit about 35 years of age, we start to decrease the numbers of stem cells and they become less functional. And as we continue to age, the stem cells decrease in number and we start to see the diseases of old age and we start to look and feel old. And this is because we lose the number and the function of our stem cells. Now, Ampm has been designed to help maintain the function of those stem cells so they can work longer. Okay, there's 3 basic types of stem cells we all have in our body. The first type of stem cells, hematopoietic stem cells, form our immune system, which helps keep us free from infections from bacteria and viruses. The second type of stem cells are called endothelial progenitor cells that make blood vessels and grow new blood vessels and maintain healthy blood vessels throughout our body. The third type of stem cells that we all have are called mesenchymal stem cells, because they turn into muscle, bone, cartilage, and nerve tissue. And so we need to maintain all 3 types of these cells to age optimally. You know, Bill Gates recently, and many of the people in the computer industry have finally realized that the DNA inside our cells actually works very similar to a computer program. But Bill Gates' recent quote is very interesting. He stated that DNA is like a computer program, but far, far more advanced than any other software they've ever seen. You know, today in reality, we have computers that run on DNA, and they are doing things much more efficiently than the standard computer. Now, each one of our cells has to respond to thousands of signals a second, signals a second. So you see how efficient our DNA is inside each one of the 100 trillion cells in our body. So just like a computer program, the software can get a virus and crash after a number of attacks by these viruses, so does our DNA software begin to malfunction with age because of damage to our DNA. The difference between us and our computers is we suffer from this damage, and we start to experience poor health and rapid aging. And in each one of our cells, we really have two main software programs, an AM genetically software program and a PM genetic software program at the cellular level. So when you're taking Ampm, basically what you're doing is upgrading that genetic software. You're actually using compounds that turn the genes off that accelerate aging and turn back on the genes that actually slow the aging process and actually make our cells function more optimally. Now, what's so unique about Ampm is it contains all your daily requirements for vitamins and minerals, but goes way beyond this. We have selectively chosen the key extracts from plant extracts, herbal extracts, all different groups of natural compounds that have been researched and found out to be the perfect combination of ingredients to activate key genes and deactivate other genes so that our cells function on a more optimal basis. Now, one of the interesting things is that Ampm, without a question, is one of the most experiential products in the YES system. Let's take a look at a survey we did a few years ago, and what did we find? So one of the most important things we found is after 8 weeks of use, 88% of the people using Ampm Essentials were sleeping not only longer, but were sleeping deeper. Energy-wise, 65% of people said they felt much more energetic in the morning. 65% of people said they were able to focus mentally much better throughout the day. And about 62% of people felt they felt less stressful. They felt more calm and peaceful and relaxed. Aside from that, at least 50% of the people documented that they got sick less often. So this is a tremendous, tremendous experiential impact for one product. But let me tell you, one of the most important things that Ampm does is help with sleep, longer and deeper sleep. And why is that important? It's because this information I'm giving you just came out a few months ago from a recent study at Harvard that showed what happens if you're not getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night. If you're not getting that much sleep, your memory is dramatically impacted in a bad way. You have higher levels of anxiety. Your incidence of stroke or heart disease or diabetes is about 5 or 6 times greater than the average person. And symptoms of depression are much more frequent. One of the interesting things we found out that if you're not getting 7 hours of sleep, the melatonin is decreased in your body, and you end up with a greater chance of breast cancer. Now, one of the biggest things people notice when they don't sleep is they gain weight. And that's because their cortisol, the age-accelerating hormone, is in a much higher level. And this causes you to gain body fat. So when you look all together, one of the most important things to stay healthy is to get the right amount of sleep every night. Now, Ampm is designed on a system called chronobiology. And what that means is our bodies have been designed to work differently in the morning than they do in the evening. And this goes back evolutionarily when we were primitive humans, where we had to be wide awake and focus and have energy in the morning so we could escape the dangers in our environment. And in the evening, we had to sleep to repair and rest in order to repair the damage that our bodies were suffering throughout the day as primitive human beings. Today, we find ourselves in a whole different situation. It may not be a primitive environment, but it definitely is a stressful environment with the digital world we all live in. So there's two formulas in Ampm with slightly different ingredients in different groupings. And the reason for that is we want to be able to turn on specific genes in the morning for energy and focus. And then in the evening, we want to be able to enhance the activity of genes that are involved in repair of our cells, detoxification, and help induce our sleep cycle. So many people ask me, well, if we take our AM in the morning, how come we're not taking anything throughout the day? Well, the antioxidants in AM are very powerful. They last virtually all day long. And the antioxidants and other groups in PM last throughout the night. But the big question people have is, well, how many tablets should I be taking? Now, normally we tell people to take 2 AM tablets in the morning, 2 PM tablets in the evening, about an hour before going to bed. But we all different people. We all know what our needs are and how our bodies respond. Let me give you an example. I take 2 AMs in the morning. I take additional 1 or 2 AMs at lunchtime. And I might take 2 or 3 PMs because that's what keeps me in the perfect balance for sleep, energy, and focus. You know, during the middle of the day, I usually have a extra scoop or an extra drink with Zen Fuse. And I might do the same thing in about an hour and a half before I go to sleep, so I have extra protein kind of after my dinner or with my dinner. But the thing to keep in mind is we should all experiment to see what gives us the best effect. And some people may only need 1 AM, other people 3 AMs. For instance, our Jeunesse people in Germany, who are big, strong people and bigger than a lot of the Asian people, take 3 PMs and 3 AMs because their body mass is bigger. So one of the key things to keep in mind is the nice thing about this product is you can adjust how many tablets you take in order to enhance how you feel to your best, and that's your individual choice. So again, the secret to limit or slow the aging process and maintain optimal cell function in both groups of our cells is to keep our DNA healthy and try to limit the damage and increase the repair to our DNA, which is, in essence, our genetic software. So Ampm regulates our primary genetic function or program, which is our general cell function, as well as our secondary genetic programs, which are our sleep-wake cycle. Each one of the tablets has approximately 6 different groups of ingredients, and each one of those groups are designed to actually impact the genes involved inside the cell to help it work more efficiently. So in essence, if you think, when people ask you, well, what is Ampm? The key thing to remember, it's not just a vitamin mineral supplement. It actually is a supplement that helps regulate the genes involved in cellular aging, and it is a whole new revolutionary concept in cellular nutrition. Many people compare this Ampm to regular vitamins. It's like going from 4G to 5G on your cell phone. That means it allows you to do things quicker, the cell functions more optimally, and it's a whole new level of efficiency. Now, this slide is something I love to show because we actually took all the ingredients in both AM and PM and went out and bought the exact same ingredients in a nutritional chain store. And if you had to buy this separately, these are the amounts of tablets you'd have to take throughout the day, which would be virtually impossible. And aside from that, the cost just for these individual supplements was over $400 US, and you would not even be getting all the key things that we have in Ampm. So this is really important to keep in mind. Now, one of the things that is essential to understand is if you're not living a reasonable lifestyle, that is, if you're at home and you're not exercising, you're eating fast foods, you're drinking alcohol, you're smoking cigarettes, your environment will actually cause, your poor environment will actually cause your genes to work poorly and you'll age prematurely. Now, if you're taking Ampm and doing this, it might happen a little bit slower, but you're still not optimizing the information that we're trying to give to everyone at Jeunesse. So the secret is your environment controls 70% of your future health, and 70% of the genes that you're born with, you can actually alter to improve your health. Only 30% of those genes are genes that really can't be improved by your environment or your supplements and your lifestyle. So this is just something very important to keep in mind. And the responsibility for our present and future health is really in our own hands. So today I want to stress something that we're all concerned about. We're living in an environment and a time in history where we're all being exposed to a very dangerous pandemic, a virus that is highly contagious. And if your immune system is not working optimally, your risk of being infected is greater. So what are the things that can really help us maintain a more optimal immune system right now, since there is no vaccine and there's really nothing to do except for try to keep ourselves in immune strength, an ideal immune strength? So number one is sleep. If we're not getting 7 hours a night, what happens is our immune function is dramatically impeded. We need to have the right amount of pre and probiotics because our intestines, the bacteria in our intestines are responsible for a number of things. They are responsible for making a good portion of our immune system. Those are the immunoglobulins that actually flow through the blood and help fight and remove bacteria and viruses. Our intestines are also responsible for making hormones, neurohormones. And these are things that help keep us from getting depressed, things that help with neurotransmitters, our function, and our memory. Vitamins and minerals, like I said, are contained in Ampm, and the ones that are of key importance, we might even want to take extra: vitamin C, B6, vitamin E, and vitamin D. Okay, particularly vitamin D has been found to be lacking and deficient in many people who have contacted the COVID virus. If we decrease our general body inflammation, this is something that's very important because the viruses love an inflamed environment to grow in. And the less inflammation we have, the better. And frankly, this is directly related to our ideal body composition. The less fat we have on our body, the less inflammation we have as well. Now, the other thing ideally we would like to do is increase our stem cell number, because the greater our stem cell numbers, the more stronger our immune system is and the more immune cells the stem cells can actually make. And we happen to be lucky enough to have the product called VitaBlue, which has been documented actually increased the number of all three stem cell types. Again, we talk about body composition. And here, the secret is to do some moderate exercise at least 5 or 6 times a week, because by exercising, we not only help our body detox, we regulate approximately 20 to 30 other genes in our bodies that are positive for staying healthy and decreasing the aging process. And more importantly, when we have more muscle mass and less body fat, the quality of our health is generally better. Now, we'll take a look at what are the 3 key products in a minute that really help from the YES system to accomplish every one of these key components of enhancing our immune system. First, I want to say that now this study, there was a study that was done in the University of Taiwan, China Medical University, and Mark Wang was responsible for getting that whole study started. And this is a pivotal study in that this is the first time a nutraceutical product actually documented it could change the genes that help with ideal aging and help with and change the genes that help improve stem cell function. So let's take a quick look. We now at Juness have the only product that actually has a genetic study. Although it's in animals, it's the same animals we use when we test a new drug or pharmaceutical. But this is the first natural nutraceutical product that has shown it can really impact the genes involved in aging. So what we did is we had 3 groups of mice, and the first group was fed AM, the second group was fed PM, and the third group was fed both AM and PM. And the results were amazing. The animal, both groups that were fed the PM had an improvement in the genes involved in stem cell function and stem cell multiplication. And that's the nanog and third column down genes. You can see the little black squares get bigger and bigger, indicating greater gene activity and this group of stem cell genes. But you also see that first level of box where it says SIRT1. These are the genes, the sirtuin genes that are involved in longevity and health in human beings. So PM actually improved the activity of those genes as well. Now, when we looked at the AM impact, we saw that, again, the sirtuin genes were activated in the group taking AM alone. And then we also saw in the AM genes also a positive effect on the genes involved in stem cell multiplication and stem cell differentiation into other cell types. So together with AM, PM together, we saw even a bigger impact on these 2 key groups of genes, which have been already documented to dramatically improve how cells age in both the stem cell and in our body, in our somatic cell, body cell pool. So in summary, when we start to look at AM/PM essentials, we understand that AM/PM is the foundation product that works from the intimate level of our genetics, our genetic software, outward to our skin, and the other AM/PM products like the Luminesce skincare line work from the outside in. But AM/PM, by augmenting the function, improving the function of our body cells and stem cells, allows to be even more efficient due to the fact that our cells are working at a much more efficient level in general. So when let's take a look at the synergy component in the S system. I've been working with Mark McDonald and doing it together. The changes in the people's body composition, the loss of fat is quicker. Muscle mass occurs more quickly. And people see in general a dramatic enhanced effect in improving their body composition. Now, when we were looking at what can we do with the Yes System products to actually enhance or help our immune system work more optimally, AM/PM supplies not only the vitamins and minerals and the key plant extracts that augment the key genes involved in cellular aging, but it also has prebiotics and probiotics, which I mentioned are really important because the large portion of our immune system comes from our intestines. Zen Fuse and Zen Prime also are essential because without the right amount of protein, our body cannot make the immunoglobulins and the immune compounds that keep our immune system strong. And one of the hardest things today to do is get enough protein. So Zen Fuse is one of the best ways of doing this. Zen Prime also has the prebiotics and probiotics to work synergistically with AM/PM. And it also has certain compounds that help the liver detoxify the waste products that our body produces. So we happen to have here with the immune function package, along with Vita Blue. So Vita Blue has been documented to increase the stem cell numbers in our body as well. So increasing stem cell numbers helps again with creating more immune functioning cells. What's amazing is when you use all 3 of these products together, you're doing one of the most important things you can at this point in time, and that's keeping your immune system functioning as well as it can. So when we look at each one of our cells as biological computers and our bodies as biological machines, what frequently people say, well, if that's the case, who's the programmer? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You are. We are. Because based upon the environment that we put into, surround our body and our cells with, that will dictate exactly how healthy we are now and how healthy we will be in the future. So let me show you briefly what the future holds for stem cells. Right now in our clinic in Central America and Costa Rica, we collect all 3 stem cell types. And up until just 5 or 6 years ago, as I said, we were all born with a fixed number of stem cells, and we all know as we age, we lose those numbers. Well, for the first time, we can collect stem cells and put them into deep freeze where those cells are no longer aging. So I had my stem cells collected here on the left, and my son had his collected when he was in his 20s. Now, his stem cells will be in storage as 20-year-old stem cells. And as he hits his 40s and his stem cell numbers start to decline, he will be able to go back and get 28-year-old versions of his stem cells that will be at the peak of their efficiency and performance. Now, on the other hand, I'm a little past that 50-year-old age mark where our stem cells really start to get less functional. But the fact is that they still help maintain a regenerative potential. But what we have now, and with our Nobel Prize research, we're able to take 80, 90, 70-year-old stem cells and turn them back into functioning stem cells of a 28-year-old person. So the future of health and longevity will change dramatically in the next few years. And this is one of the biggest steps that people can start to do to be able to take advantage of what the future will hold. Let me give you an example of what we're already doing. What you see here are artificial bladder in the upper right-hand corner, lungs in the bottom right-hand corner, a heart in the bottom left-hand corner. And what we're able to do now is grow new organs with your own stem cells. Now, these organs were grown from the stem cells of a dog. The dog's heart was removed, and a new artificial, if you will, or a new heart was grown for that dog with its own stem cells. So what you're seeing now is the birth of a whole new way. The transplant industry that is now, we all are basically victims. If we need a new kidney or we need a new heart, we have to wait for a transplant. If we have our stem cells collected and stored, and we're in need of an organ replacement, within the next decade maximum, we'll be growing our own organs from fresh tissue and using our own stem cells. So we'll never have to worry about a rejection or that organ is not available for us. And these are just some of the areas where stem cell science is moving forward. In the meantime, Ampm has been designed to help you maintain your stem cells in optimal shape, your body cells functioning optimally. And for the first time, Jeunesse is the only company that has products that have been documented to actually interact at the genetic level to help keep our cells working more youthfully and longer to help enhance the quality of the time we have. You know, we have a special saying at Jeunesse, and that is the best way to predict your future health is not to leave it to chance, but to create it. And we feel that at Jeunesse we bring the latest science, the latest research to all the products that we design for the whole YES system. And we're looking forward to bringing out some amazing new products this year, all based to help with our immune function and the damage to our genetic software to limit that. And I think this coming year is going to be an amazing new year for everybody involved in Jeunesse and everybody who's taking Jeunesse products. Thank you.
太棒了！太棒了，谢谢博士的分享哦。那今天呢，我们真的就是把握这个机会，现场有许多杰斯家人们对于 Ampm 有一些问题，我们也趁着这个机会呢，来就是咨询一下我们的博士哦。 OK， 那首先第一个问题呢，就是呢，我相信呢，有许多不同族群的人都很想要使用 Ampm 这个产品，但是呢，他可能有一些状况，像是他可能有糖尿病、肾脏病，或者是怀孕，或者是哺乳期，还有小朋友到底几岁以后才可以使用？那这个部分要请我们博士来回答。
Okay, so to answer that first question, if someone has a active disease, diabetes, kidney disease, cancer, or is pregnant, they should always check with their physician to see what their physician recommendations are, because no one knows their health and potential risks for taking anything better than their physician. So that would be my answer to that. But frankly, people with diabetes who take Ampm tend to do dramatically better. Their blood sugar tends to be more balanced. Okay, I have a number of patients who are diabetics who actually take much less of their diabetic medication after being on Ampm. But again, they should check with their physician. As far as what age goes, what age is best to start Ampm? I mean, we usually recommend that people start Ampm at about 18 or 19 years of age, because developmentally, they're pretty much adults at that time. We do have a number of people who have their children take this earlier. They might be 12 or 13 years old, and they've done well with maybe one tablet in the morning or one tablet in the evening. So, but in general, the rules are we recommend starting at age 18.
好的，那再来呢，第二个问题呢，因为Ampm 呢，其实我们的会员都会在许多不同的国家购买这个产品，那也会发现就是说 Ampm 的配方还有标示会有点不太一样，有些国家可能只要吃1颗，那有一些国家会标示吃2颗，那有一些我们甚至有粉剂的这样子的包装，那它们有什么样的一个差别？
Okay, so the basic groups of the key compounds in each one of the groups are the same, okay? And sometimes we have to switch out one compound for a different compound that has the same impact on the cell. And that has to do with what's the regulatory issues are in each country. So in each country, each product, certain components of a group of the groups in the Ampm formula need to be changed. So if we change them to a different compound, it still serves the same purpose. So the net effect is it's the same. It's going to create the same impact on your cells. So now certain countries are much more. It's much easier to get Ampm approved as a drink than it is as a tablet. And in other countries, it's the opposite. And that has to do with the regulatory issues that each country has. Frankly, I think one of the major reasons we came out with the Ampm powder is many people have, especially in the East, have problems swallowing the tablets. So the powder in the drink format is much easier to take. It can actually be, for instance, if you're taking your Zen Fuse in the morning, you can mix your Ampm powder, Zen Fuse, and Nara, if you want, all together in one glass and drink everything at once. So it's a little more convenient for people who don't like to take a lot of tablets as well. But the key thing is the net effect, the experiential effect, the impact on sleep and energy and focus is the same with both formats.
OK， 那再来呢，第三个问题哦，就是呢，我们知道那个 Ampm 呢，它对于睡眠是有所帮助的。可是呢，有一些人他可能本身他甚至没有睡眠的问题，他都睡得很好。可是在吃了 PM 之后，好像睡眠状况变得不是那么的沉了，容易做梦的现象就会出现。那感觉呢，就是好像有些人吃了 PM 很好睡，那为什么有些人吃了之后好像反应没有那么快？那这部分要请博士来帮我们回答。
Yes. So if people say they sleep normal, okay, once you hit about age 40, you usually have less REM. and less deep sleep. So when people say they're more often, this is a very important sign, because when they're dreaming, they're in what we call REM sleep. Now, why is that important? REM sleep is when, at night, is when our brain is able to transfer the experiences we have from that day from short-term memory, which is in the center deep portion of the brain, to the frontal lobes of the brain, where there's permanent storage of what we learned and experienced that day. So when people say they're having more dreams, what that means is they're actually able to store their memories and the information more efficiently. Very important. In deep sleep, when people aren't dreaming, in deep sleep, what happens is that's when cell repair is going on, and the deeper you sleep, the better your body is able to repair and detoxify itself. And the other thing that's been recently discovered is if you're not getting enough deep sleep, the brain has a detoxification system as well. And that kind of like tiny little blood vessels that actually remove all the compounds, the waste products inside the nerve cells that occurred during the day. Now, if you're not getting deep sleep, the drainage from the brain and those toxic compounds build up, and they lead directly to Alzheimer's disease or memory. Or these are very important things that people need to understand, and why PM is so important to help them get not only longer sleep, but better quality sleep. Now, people who say they have wild dreams, those are and there's a small percentage of people do that, and that's usually due to the melatonin, which is a very small dose of melatonin. If that happens, then I tell people, look, then don't take 2 PMs. Just try using 1 PM. And usually, if you're having very wild dreams that upset you, you move down to 1 PM tablet in the course of a week or two. That usually, those dreams usually, the over exaggerated dreams usually go back to a normal state.
OK， 好的。那在第4个问题啊，就是呢，因为我们的杰斯会员，他会选择很多杰斯的产品，他会吃 Ampm， 会吃 Finity， 会吃 Nara。那这些产品里面呢，其实都含有就是维他命的这个成分哦。那如果说都这样一起食用的话，会不会有哪些维生素或者摄取过量的这样子的一个问题
Okay. So one of the things to keep in mind, and again, this is something we look into when we bring a new product into the YES system, we have to make sure that there's not going to be a toxicity of too many vitamins or minerals. Now, with vitamins, there's 2 types of vitamins. There's water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins. Now, water-soluble vitamins you can't take too much of, because if you take more than what you need, the body removes them, okay? Fat-soluble vitamins, which are A, D, E, and K, are the vitamins that if you take, they will build up in your body. So what we normally do is make sure that the fat-soluble vitamins that are in other products, if we were to take all the key products from Janessa's YES system, there's not an overload of the fat-soluble vitamins to create any issue at all.
OK， 好的。那在最后一个问题哦，就是呢，有一些人在使用 Ampm 之后呢，会出现一些不舒服的状况。那到底什么样的状况叫做正常？什么样的状况是需要停止或减量使用的？那请博士给我们一些建议。
Okay, I need a little more information by what type of discomfort are they referring to? Or do they feel like mentally groggy, or do they feel sluggish? Or because when many people who take Ampm, because their body is in a state of having a lot of, if you will, negative compounds build up, toxic compounds, Ampm actually makes the liver work much more efficiently, and the liver will start to draw out these toxic compounds from their fat cells and even some of the fascia, mainly the fat cells of the body where it's stored. And what happens is when people start to feel funny or groggy, or their memory isn't great, they have lack of energy, they're having a detoxification reaction because of all the negative compounds that are in their body. And when that happens, we tell people, if you start to feel like this, stop taking AM/PM 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, and go down to 1 AM only in the morning. Take no PM, and do that for a week. And then the following week, add 1 PM, okay? And then the next week, you can add an additional AM. So now you're taking 2 AMs in the morning and 1 PM. And by the end of the month, you're back on 2 of each. So by slowly increasing the dose of AM/PM, this allows the body to more slowly draw out the toxins without creating a detoxification reaction. And that's probably the most important common thing we might see with people, but it's actually a blessing if that happens, because when you start AM/PM in a slower fashion and you build it up slower, you don't have the detox reaction, and you feel dramatically better, and your body's much cleaner at the end of the month.
那有些人呢，他使用之后呢，就有发胖的问题。那这个部分的话，博士怎么看这个问题
？They said their fat accumulates. Is that what you're saying?
是
Okay. Well, what happens too? Keep in mind, most of the people that we studied actually lose body fat and gain muscle mass. So I would say the majority of people will lose maybe a kilo the first month or two. But they'll say, I really didn't lose a lot of weight, but they notice that their clothes fit much better, that their waistline is smaller, and their legs are thinner, and they have more muscle mass. So some people actually gain some weight, but it's almost always all muscle. We've studied the effect of AM and PM on people's blood sugar levels, and they're much more stable. In fact, their blood sugar levels, the fructosamine levels, and their A1C levels seem to get lower on AM/PM. So probably if they're gaining weight, it's probably more muscle mass. And I think that if you ask those people, say, gee, they gained some weight, their clothes and their body composition and better, but I did notice I gain more muscle and lose body fat.
那会不会就是消化吸收变好这样状况，所以导致就是比较容易吸收更多的热量？
So this is again, these are very good questions. AM/PM as well as Zen Prime and Zen Fuse all help with digestion, okay? And keep in mind, once we hit about 35 to 40 years of age, even if we ate the perfect breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we would not be able to get the nutritional value that we did when we were young out of that food, because the digestive enzymes that we normally produce when we're young are much lower in quantity. So that's why we put in the digestive enzymes in AM/PM. Amylases and amylase, proteases, lipases, cellulases. These enzymes break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats much more efficiently. So if you're taking AM/PM with your breakfast, you're getting more nutritional value out of your breakfast. If you're taking PM about an hour after dinner, you're going to get more nutritional value out of PM. So AM/PM has been designed to help with your digestion dramatically. And it also supplies the pre and probiotics to help your intestines make the right intestinal flora, which again helps with digestion. So yes, AM/PM will help with digestion and will help with nutritional value that you get from the food that you do eat. And if you're not careful and you continue to eat large quantities of food, you will gain some weight. But if you're eating the right amounts of protein, carbohydrates, fats, it'll be mostly muscle. And the secret is to stay with that 40% protein, 30% fat and 30% carbohydrates, and low glycemic index carbs. So there's the Zen 8 program really is a tremendous program that helps you balance those macronutrients. And the Zen program and Ampm together are the best ways to keep an ideal body composition and enhance your digestive process.
谢谢博士今天跟我们的分享哦。那今天呢，真的也非常谢谢呢大家呢线上跟我们一起的来学习哦。那线上其实还有许多问题是针对主要是一些自己个人本身的这样子的一些疾病问题的话呢，我们就不在线上呢一一的来做回复。我们会建议您呢，就可以把你的问题呢，就透过我们的就是后台的客服系统，把你的问题还有你的检查资料，就仔细的提供给我们，我们会做更仔细的这样子一个个别的一个回复。那其实呢 ，Ampm 呢，其实呢，不仅仅是帮助我们白天更有精神，晚上有更好的睡眠品质，更重要的是呢 ，Ampm 还可以帮助我们基因的修复，还有维持干细胞的数量哦。所以呢，如果你想要拥有健康、留住青春 ，Ampm 一定是你每天一定要吃的营养补充品。那在今天课程的结束之前呢，我们要再一次的提醒杰斯家人，下一堂课呢就是本周的星期五早上10点，将由我们 Zen28 的全球品牌大使 Mark McDonald 来跟大家呢一起动起来。请持续关注我们大中华区的培训课程，我们星期五见，谢谢大家。
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.